What is up, everybody? Skratch coming up with another Raid Shadow Legends video. We are currently on the test server, guys. Welcome everybody to the channel. We're here to have a look at all the 4 new epics that are being used in the current fusion. I usually release these sort of videos much earlier together with the fusion, but this time around I just didn't have a chance to check them out. And maybe some of you guys don't have the resources to complete a legendary fusion just yet. Some of you guys might be newish to the game. Some of you don't really care about the fusion and you're just kind of like thinking, okay, I'm gonna grab one of the epics. And you might want to know how to use them, what to do with them, how to build them, etc. If you do have the resources available to complete the fusion, I strongly suggest you to do it. None of these epics are spectacular. They are decent, they're not bad, but they're not spectacular. They're not standing out as being amazing at anything in particular compared to the rest of the epics that we have available. So we have Andahlia from the High Elves, HP champion, Magic Affinity. We have Aishma or something like that, not sure how you're saying her name, Magic Affinity, attack-based champion. Then we have Thornbor, Orcs, defense-based champion, Spirit Affinity. And we have Morag, defense-based Spirit Affinity from the Dwarf faction. Out of all of them, I feel like you can find some use for them if you're kind of like newish to the game. If you're really progressed through the game, I wouldn't really recommend it to build any of them because you don't really have any particular use for them, you know. But starting with Andahlia, if you are looking to progress and your main issue is having a control on the waves, she can be a pretty interesting champion in the right build. So if you have a provoke set available, if no, I would strongly suggest you farm a bit of Ice Golem, farm one provoke set. You don't need crazy stats on it whatsoever. Then she will be able to do some work for you. So in terms of skills, with the A1 she has a chance to land provoke, but it's only a 50% fully booked, 25 with no book, so it's a pretty low chance. With the A2 she's going to bring you decreased attack AoE. This is going to be very important for progression in pretty much all the content. Then the passive will counter attack when attacked by enemies under decreased attack. And we have an accuracy aura in all battles, 40 accuracy. So the reason why I gave her a provoke set is because I want her to provoke with the AoE skill. Then the same enemies, will attack her, and she's gonna get to counter attack and have a higher chance at provoking them again and constantly keeping them locked. If you don't really have a provoke set on her, nobody's really gonna attack her, usually because she's the highest HP in the team, or she will be one of the highest HP in the team. So she will just get to counterattack on AoE attacks, which won't be necessarily that often on most of the dungeon waves, Doom Tower waves, faction wars. She definitely has potential for this sort of content, you know. So this is the build, provoke and resilience. We have 75k HP, 3k defense, 218 speed, 300 accuracy. You don't need more than 250 accuracy, honestly. I just ended up having a bit of an overkilling here. In terms of masteries for her, guys, I have defense and support, so I went with fearsome presence as tier 6 just to have a higher chance to land the stun. We have a bit of damage reduction in here, a bit of turn meter. Then I went support to get more accuracy. We got arcane celerity, more turn meter when the debuffs expire. And of course, we have Cycle of Magic to help us to rotate with the A2 more often. And we have Master Hexer to increase the duration of debuffs. This is the first champion. Moving over to the second one. So I'm going to talk about all of them, then we're going to test them. Some of them together, some of them separately. But you're going to be able to pretty much see what they're capable to do. Aishma, or however you're saying her name. On the A1, she has a chance to land poisons. It's a pretty low chance, 30% fully booked, and yeah, it's not that amazing. The A2, AoE attack, she will land a weaken debuff. If you fully book her, 100% chance on a 3-turn cooldown. On the A3, she has a chance to decrease the duration of all enemy buffs by a turn and increase the duration of all enemy debuffs by 1 turn on a 3-turn cooldown. That can actually be pretty nice in clan boss, pretty nice on the dragon. So if you manage to land a lot of poisons, she can actually increase the duration of all those, the attack down, and anything else that you might need in there, you know. The passive heals this champion by 3% of their max HP whenever an enemy receives damage from a poison. The more poisons, the more healing she's going to get. I have her built on a crit rate set, a crit damage set, and a cruel. I haven't went crazy with the build. We have 30k HP, 5k attack, 178 speed, 102 crit rate, 240 crit damage, 250 accuracy. In terms of masteries, I went with offense and support 3. 100% you want to get War Master on her because she might help you a bit on the dragon, might help you in clan boss if you don't really have any better options. And we went with support. Cycle of Magic will help us a bit to decrease the cooldown of the skills. We have a Sniper to increase the chance to land poisons, Master Hexer, and of course Evil Eye because we have accuracy. Why not? She might help us in other content too to decrease a bit the turn meter if needed. So this was the second champion. The third one, Thornbor. Out of all 4 of them, I think I like this one the most. So he's a defense-based champion. On the A1, attacks one enemy 2 times. The first hit has a chance to land Weaken. The second has a chance to land Leech. That actually sounds pretty interesting, even for clan boss. The A2 attacks all enemies on a 3-turn cooldown, removes 1 random debuff from all allies before attacking. Damage increases by 5 for each debuff removed. So that means that he can get an extra 20 to 25 more damage just because of the debuffs being removed from your allies. Could be very nice as a clan boss cleanse. My only problem is that his A3 is on a 4-turn cooldown. So if you want to make anything viable in clan boss in terms of having a nice speed tune, it's kind of like a pain because you need to make the champion on a 4-to-3 ratio. The A2 is on a 3-turn cooldown, so you cannot have this champion to do the cleanse for you and the ally protection. But it can be used to carry your ass through dungeons a bit if needed early on for progression and stuff like that. So if you get a champion, it's honestly not the end of the world. It's not a bad champion at all. It's a pretty decent one. Out of all 4 of them, I think I like this one the most. And whenever this champion is attacked, has a 20% chance of decreasing the duration of all debuffs on this champion by 1 turn. Even better. So this is the third champion. I have him built on a perception set just to gain some accuracy in there for the A1. Then I have 2 immortal sets to help him heal every now and then if needed. Total stats, I have 52k HP, 4.7k defense, 235 speed, 90 crit rate, 85 crit damage, 295 accuracy. And probably you guys are wondering, Skratch, why didn't you build this champion for damage? Well, ally protection scales on this champion's crit damage. The more crit damage I'm gonna give him, the more I'm gonna cripple him in supporting the team. So you can go full crit rate, just don't go overboard with the crit damage because you're just gonna punish the champion and he won't be able to do his support job as good as he is without crit damage. In terms of masteries, I went offense and support 3. This champion can be used on the Dragon 20 if needed, slowly for progression. You can use it on the Fire Knight if needed. You can use it in clan boss if you have nothing better out there and you want a Leech champion, a Weaken, and a bit of support. It can help you, and you're just gonna go mainly for the clans and the rest, and you're gonna have that protection to drop in and out randomly, you know. And I have support 3, so I went for rapid response when the buffs expire or gaining turn meter. We have Cycle of Magic, Lasting Gifts, and of course we have Sniper for the A1, War Master as tier 6. Pretty standard master, is nothing too out of the ordinary. Then we have Morag. She's a defense-based champion too. She mainly looks like a damage dealer more than anything else. Slightly ally attack damage dealer combination. On the A1 attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit will ignore shield buffs. The A2 attacks all enemies, then places a strengthen buff on all allies for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. And teams up with 2 random allies to attack a single enemy. The allies joining the attack will always use their default skill. Grants an extra turn if any enemy is killed. And we have counter attacks when hit while under a strengthen buff placed by this champion. Interesting kit, a bit of ally attack, a bit of damage here and there. Now I have her built on a crit damage set and 2 speed sets. I'm kind of like building these sort of champions very similar with my I don't know, with the Longbeard, this sort of champions. And I do give her damage, but I'm not going all in on damage with her because I feel like I want her to have some speed. I want her to be able to kind of like push the ally attack as much as possible, push a bit of damage, buff the team. So we have 43k HP, 4.7k defense, 228 speed, full crit rate, 230 crit damage, no accuracy because this champion does not require accuracy. And in terms of masteries, I went offense and defense tree. So I still got War Master as tier 6 on the Fire Knight, on the Dragon. I don't really see where else I would actually use the champion. Faction Wars, you know, but I feel like that would be it. Maybe I would use the champion on the Griffin as well, if it's gonna be the right affinity at some point. But I think the Griffin is just magic, if I'm not mistaken. It might be Spirit on some rotation. And we went with Cycle of Revenge for a bit of extra turn meter every now and then, and Retribution to get a bit of counter attack when our HP drops and we don't have strength and buff on. These are the builds that I have on the champions, guys. So I'm gonna use them together in some of the teams. I'm gonna use them a bit separately as well. So I'm quickly gonna show you first Aishma, how she performs in clan boss in terms of what sort of numbers she's dropping with this build. Like, keep in mind the build is not crazy, it's not savage. It's a decent build, yeah, it's definitely a decent build, but it's not something that's gonna break the game whatsoever. So let's have a quick look at how she performs in clan boss. Actually, I think I've already took her in for a spin just out of curiosity. I'm not gonna do an entire run. What we're actually gonna have a look at is to see if she's bringing in some decent sort of damage numbers, you know. So let's use the A1 there. I'm gonna buff that, increase attack, because I don't want to tune the team anyway. I'm just going in for the damage. And what we're gonna start actually with the A3. We're only gonna increase the duration of those debuffs, but I want to see how hard this skill actually hits. 204k with the A3. Yeah, that's actually pretty nice for the build that I have on her. She's just an epic champion that doesn't look that spectacular. 200k damage is actually pretty nice. Okay, let's use this. We landed one poison in there with the ally attack. Very curious to see the A2 as well. That's gonna land the weaken. I do have increased attack. I actually have increased crit damage this time around too. That will give me a bit more damage. 138k is okay. Nothing amazing there actually. So nothing too crazy with that. And we want to see a bit the A1. I still have increased attack or no? If I don't, I'm gonna put it up right now. And let's increase the duration of buffs. I have defense down and weaken. That's pretty much all that matters. 68, 67k. Decent. Very similar with what a Fane would do as well, I think, in terms of that. But she doesn't really bring as many things as Fane for clan boss. I don't think I would use her in clan boss, honestly. Like, there's so many other options that are better out there. Even as poisoners, you know, like you have even Rowan, or you have Occult Brawler or Eotar. I feel like they would out damage this champion in terms of poisons. Now, if you need a weaken, and that's kind of like the main thing that you want to get, and to increase the duration of debuffs, you can definitely find a use for the champion, you know. Like, there we go, we just increased the duration of everything. We dropped a pretty nice 200 plus k damage, so it's not a bad option at all. Good. If we're gonna go over to the Bastion, so let's move to Dragon. Let's do a Dragon run. So we're gonna go on stage 20, Magic Affinity. We have a couple of Spirit champions in here. I'm actually gonna go in like this, so I'm not gonna use the ally attack on this stage because she will be weak affinity too, and I feel like I will definitely need some support, and I want to test her. Maybe we're gonna drop him. Actually, we're gonna drop him. He will bring a cleanse on the dragon, which is gonna be nice. Ally protection will be nice too. I need some extra damage. I feel like, actually, you know what? Let's take KL out. Maybe we're gonna go in like this. All the 4 new epic champions and Jamarsa. It's very easy to get a Jamarsa, guys. Create 3 referral accounts. I have my BlueStack link in the description down below. It's very easy to create a referral, and you're gonna get Jamarsa like super quick if you need a support champion on your account. You know, I almost lost my my tongue there for a second. I was like blast stack. But here we are. You see, that's kind of like what I meant with the champion. Provoke again. That decrease attack lands with a provoke on 1 or 2 champions. Then when they attack her, she's constantly gonna provoke, you know. Especially here, we have spirit champions where they're weak affinity, you know. So that will kind of like definitely not work in our favor because all the magic champions will attack the spirit champions. So she's magic champion, and because of the provoke set that I gave her, you see how nice we're controlling the waves? Very nice, actually. Okay, let's move over to the second wave in here. I'm curious if we manage to take the dragon down like this. We should be able to. Okay, attack down. We landed 2 provokes with the AoE skill. So now the rest will, if they will use AoE attack, she's gonna try to provoke them. We didn't manage to do that. Now she's going for the rest of the champions slowly. Okay, she's counter-attacking because of the strengthen. She's counter-attacking because of the attack down, and we landed the provoke again on the Hordins. If you guys played the game for a little while, you know that Hordins are actually very, very dangerous here. They can do a lot of damage. So having them control like this, constantly provoke, is very nice. Okay, a bit of an ally attack, landed another provoke on Tyrell there. We didn't manage to land that provoke, but we managed to provoke somebody else. And we kept on the provoke on Hordin. You see, I've told you, she's actually very nice for wave control, like with this build. Definitely great for faction wars. Unfortunately, even though I am on the test server, the faction crypts are closed, so I'm not able to go and test her in faction wars. But you get to see her in action here, you know. Then we have all the support from the other 2 champions. We have the strengthen and a bit of damage. We have more damage from this champion that lands the weaken, which will help us to kill a bit of waves faster. And we have him with a bit of damage. He doesn't really seem to do much, but he's offering us the support. The cleanse, the leech, a chance to land weaken, and of course the ally protection, which will be massive. So now that we're here, I'm curious if we're gonna be able to kind of like do some work here, you know. We landed decrease attack. We landed 1 poison. It's definitely not going to be enough. Okay. So we have the strengthen on, which is nice. Everybody's gonna counter-attack. I mean everybody. The 2 champions that counter-attack with their passives, they will counter-attack the dragon if the strengthen and the decrease attack is still on. Yep, so one counter-attack. Another counter-attack there. So we're getting on it. We got a bit of a cleanse. We removed 1 poisons with a orc champion in here. Sorry, but I haven't remembered all their names, honestly. So that's why I'm just gonna call them by faction. There's so many new champions being added to the game every month. Like, it's just impossible for us to remember them. 2 years ago, I used to know every single champion by the name. Not anymore. Not anymore. Another cleansing here, pretty nice. We actually managed to keep quite a few poisons, especially that we were increasing the duration of the debuffs on the target. That's definitely gonna help. And there we go. We increased it again. Maybe we're gaining an ally attack. Nice. Not with champions that really do damage, but it's still fine. Another poison. Beautiful. 12k hit, 12k hit. A War Master proc there from the ally attack champion. And we managed to stop the secret skill from damaging us, which is very nice. You see, plenty of support. If you're using all the 4 epic champions, which I would definitely suggest you to make the fusion if you have access to all of them. But yeah, a legendary is still a legendary, you know, and is actually a fairly decent one this time around as a fusion. Bang. It took us 4 minutes, but hey, what can you expect? We don't really have any sort of DPS in here. We have Andahlia with the 339k damage. She was mainly the wave control champion. We really kept them provoked. Thornbor, the support champion, with 548k damage. Ashma with 2.2 million damage. She was the main DPS. And we had Morag with 817k damage. She was the second DPS champion that we had in the team. Fairly decent, I would say. I think that they did a pretty decent job, considering that I had no defense down. I didn't really have a strong AoE nuker either to clear the waves, you know. So I feel like they've done a decent job. I want to test them in one more place, guys, and that's going to be the Fire Knight. And I feel like that should kind of like give you guys an idea. They're not good for the spider dance. You could maybe, nah. Even if you're gonna use the HP champion, the High Elves one, as a tank in the spiders, then just to provoke, I feel like it's not really gonna work. Nothing really is gonna come out interesting out of it, you know. So I feel like, yeah, probably it's not gonna be a good idea. But the Fire Knight castles. So we're gonna go on stage 20, right? Now here, I might have to actually drop a couple of champions. I cannot use the provoke champion on this weak affinity, because she's weak affinity. And I feel like we can go in like this with her. Ally attack, we can go with him. He has multi-hits too, plus he's giving us a bit of support if needed. I'm gonna have a DPS, nuker, and I'm gonna have defense down, decrease speed, and another decrease attack. The other two champions don't really stand out as much for this dungeon. For the Ice Golem, again, they don't really stand out either because they're not bringing that much stuff that's really needed on the Ice Golem. The Orc is decent for the Ice Golem because of the ally protection and because of the cleanse. The Dwarf can be decent because of the strengthen and a bit of ally attack here and there to help you. But the other champions, they don't really seem to be spectacular on the Ice Golem, you know. And let's see, we are on the second wave already. Skullcrown putting in some work on the waves here. You see, even having the ally attack with a champion like Skullcrown can actually be good because of the AoE A1, you know. Oh my god, all those extra turns from Stag Knight. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It would have been nice to have it now to land the decreased speed. But hey, she did that job for us with the ally attack. She brought in nice the decreased speed from Stag Knight when she did the ally attack. Very nice. And now slowly we're just taking down the Fire Knight. This is actually a pretty good team for Fire Knight stage 20. Pretty good. Now the boss will probably take a turn. I do have ally protection on. Unfortunately, I didn't have any strengthen buff on, so I can get a counter attack from the dwarf. But we have it now, and the hit, and bang. There we go. Thornbor, 530k damage. Morag, 710k. This is pretty much what you could do with the champions. Faction Wars, yes, 100%. Each one of the champions can help you in Faction Wars if needed. Doom Tower, I feel like the Orc and the High Elf, they can help you a bit with a bit of support in there. Dragon, Fire Knight, now really on the Spider because they're not bringing anything interesting for the Spider. Clan Boss, maybe if you really have no other options and you're just like super early on. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Any of these epic champions are kind of like looking interesting to you? Are you planning to build any of them? Or you're just like, yeah, whatever, I'm gonna do the fusion. If I'm getting any, I'm gonna keep them for the future. I'm not really planning to build them. That was all for this video. Much love, appreciate all of you guys watching, and I'll catch you all soon in the next one. Peace.